Hello beautiful people, my name is Medina and welcome to my channel. The weather in Istanbul has not been the best the past few days, so that's why I got sick, so excuse my voice for this video. Today I want to talk about the topic that is very close to my heart, being an international student. There are so many videos online that talk about how great the experience of being an international student is, but you can rarely see a video that touches on the topic of the challenges that you might encounter along the way. In this video I'm going to share the unseen challenges that I personally didn't know coming here, so that you can be prepared for the exciting, often tough journey. Let's dive in. First one, difference in support. When you study abroad, one of the first things that you're going to notice is the difference in support that you're going to get from your friends and family. Sure, you can always FaceTime and message, but you also have to know that it's very different from having the person physically near you. There is something about being in the same room with the person you love, like giving them a hug, their mere presence, that video calls unfortunately cannot replicate. You'll realize that physical presence creates a sense of comfort that online communication cannot quite match. So it's important to mentally prepare yourself for the emotional distance. It's not always easy, but you'll learn to adapt. Eventually you'll find new ways to stay connected, and it will be different for every single person. If I'm being honest, I did not feel difference in connectivity until the last months of my first semester of my freshman year. Since all the adrenaline of being abroad in a university hits, you do not think as much about everything else that you're missing out on, because you're more focused on everything that you're getting here. It's new, so it's more exciting. But that's honestly very good if you ask me, because when you start feeling the difference, it will be by the time when you have already adapted to your new environment, so it will be easier for you to navigate through your feelings and everything you're going through. Second challenge is need for rapid adaptation. When you move to a new country, everything feels different. The language, the customs, the way people approach education. And the truth is that no one is going to slow down just because you're new or adjusting to your life away from home. Majority of the time there is no special treatment just because you're an international student. You chose to live home, and with that comes the responsibility of navigating through its consequences. Academically, you'll be expected to keep up. Socially, you'll have to quickly adjust to your new environment. It can be tough, but it's also incredibly rewarding when you finally find your rhythm. Honestly, the adaptation part was not that tough for me. I cannot say that it was tough. I cannot say that I didn't enjoy the process, because while adapting, you're meeting so many new people, you're interacting with so many new individuals. So I would say that the process is more rewarding than it is challenging. Third challenge is diverse environments. You might have heard that university is where you meet your lifelong friends. And yes, that's often true. But let's not pretend that it's all sunshine and rainbows. Not everyone you meet will be kind. Sadly, mean and rude people don't stay in high school, they attend universities too. You'll encounter a diverse range of people. Some will be amazing, supportive, and will be your friends for life, but others might make your experience difficult. It might be the difference in values. Whatever the reason, it can be discouraging. But it's important to remember that those negative people are always the minority. I would just recommend to focus on the good ones who lift you up. Trust me, they're out there, and they'll help make your experience abroad even more memorable. I was very lucky to meet wonderful people during my freshman year. One of them is the girl that majority of my followers know. It's Lisa, my roommate. We both come from different cultures, we both come from different backgrounds, but nevertheless, Lisa is now such a close friend of mine. I genuinely can't imagine what it'd be like if I would have been placed in a room with some other girl and I never met Lisa, because she has had such a positive impact on my life. And regarding the people who try to make your life tough, I would just say that only miserable people try to make others' lives miserable. So I personally would feel sorry for them and not pay any kind of attention. I also want to mention that I'm very lucky with my university, which is filled with friendly people. So in my experience, 90% of the people that I met were actually nice. Fifth challenge is opportunities gap. Here is something you might not hear often. There is a real opportunities gap when you're looking for jobs and internships abroad. Many companies in your host country prefer to hire locals because it's easier. They don't need to deal with visa issues, they don't need to deal with extra paperwork that comes with hiring a foreigner. And if you don't speak the local language fluently, it can be an extra barrier. This doesn't mean that you won't find opportunities, but it does mean that you need to be prepared for a more competitive and sometimes discouraging job search. I also want to say that I, as a freshman, got a job offer here in Istanbul, although I am a foreigner. If I did not have to go back home, I would have definitely accepted the offer, since the company was very prestigious. So the opportunities are there. You just have to be able to find them. And my university is also great with that because we have a separate career development center, and the doors of the center are open both to locals and to international students. Last year, I also had an acquaintance who got a job offer from a local bank here, although she was an international and did not speak the language. So it's possible. Just expand your network and try to be active in your academic and social life. Sixth challenge is my least favorite: endless paperwork. No one tells you just how much there is. You'll be buried in documents, from visa applications to resident permits to health insurance forms. And it doesn't matter whether you have a midterm next day or a personal emergency, you have to get that paperwork in on time. If you miss a deadline, the consequences can be severe. So staying organized and on top of these documents is crucial when you're an international student. Last year, I applied for a residence permit twice. First time was probably the hardest because it was my first time dealing with paperwork, and since I was not 18 yet at the time, there were extra documents required, like the ones that stated my parents' permission to live alone abroad. But I got it without any further issues. Again, Koç University was also very helpful with that. The international community office here is very helpful. They helped me deal with so many of my issues, and they also have a separate website where everything is written step by step. And if I'm not mistaken, majority of the universities who host international students have that too. And I also want to mention that I did not need a visa for Turkey, so maybe the process was a little bit easier for me. The worst part was probably when I was applying for my residence permit for the second time, but it was mostly my fault. If I did it a few weeks prior to the time that I actually did it, maybe I would have less issues. I just couldn't leave the country because I didn't get my residence permit, so I was stuck here for like a month and a half. But the thing is that I had an amazing time, so it was not that bad. Was it stressful? Yes. Is it a life or death situation? No. So there you have it, the unseen challenges of being an international student. It's not all fun and games, and there are definitely tough moments. But would I choose any other path? Absolutely not. Studying abroad has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my entire life, and I would not trade it for anything. At the end of the day, it's about embracing the good and the bad, learning to grow through the challenges, and making the most of every opportunity you get. If you're considering studying abroad, I hope this video has given you a better idea of what to expect. Thank you so much for watching this video. This is a completely new format for me. I usually do vlogs, but this format has been very enjoyable for me too, so let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll see you on my next video.